Well, let me tell you this one so I can get it out of my head for my check-in, because you're going to like this, and all of you are going to like
Mm-hmm.
this. Uh, we have a quorum, so here's my check-in and true story. Um, so I'm writing a book with Mark Randall from Alpha Mind in the UK. He is a veteran of the City of London financial markets for 40 years and has been a psychology trader, coach, assistant, helper, mentor, friend, guide, practitioner for 20 years at Alpha Mind. And we're writing a book together called The Book of Five Frames for Traders. It's a yin yang approach to the markets and preparation. We both believe trading as combat is a powerful metaphor for our experiences in the marketplace, and that we've both independently adapted methods of creating a diamond mine to prepare for the challenges and rigors of that. He's going to adopt the yang approach, which is the male, the direct, the convergent, action oriented. He's going to write 4 pages of insights on 3 critical tasks for each one of those 5 frames. Each frame is a coming together of a thing that must be done to be prepared and to execute and to assess. He's going to write 1 page on each of the 3 critical tasks and 1 integrating page that tells stories and gives hints and tips. The 5th page of his section will be me commenting on what I think and feel and do about the things that he says from his side. So a total of 5 pages from him on each of 5 frames from the yang perspective. I'm going to write 5 pages, one of which will be his, from the yin style on the same frame. The yin is the female principle, the indirect, nurturing, supportive, traditional, regenerative, Mother Earth, sustaining, reinforcing, all encompassing, growth oriented, and healing perspectives for each of those frames. I've picked 3 topics that I'll write 1 page on. I will write an integrating story, tips, techniques, hints, steps ahead. He will add 1 page after he listens and reads my stuff. So on each side for each frame, there's me for 4 plus 1 from him, and then him for 4 plus 1 from me. And the one that we write about each other's sections is the crossover point, the boundary between the yin yang fish. We'll write 5 of those frames. Turns out that's very similar to Masashi's Book of Five Rings for swordsmen in the 1643. And he and I are both martial artists. So it turned out that Musashi showed up for both of us in that. Well, in one of those
Yeah.
tips and techniques, I will be talking about the 8 imbalances. When you're a judo player and you establish your firm base grounded through your feet into the earth with the center of gravity low at your hips, you cannot be thrown. You can't. They cannot throw you. You can be thrown if you are imbalanced, which is your energy altering your center of gravity. I want you to think of yourself as a triangle with a wide base, a pyramid. For 5,000 years, you can't tip that over. But if the pyramid moves under your own choice, then that energy of that can be connected to the person throwing you, and then they add their energy in that direction, and you may go past your tipping point and be thrown. You can either tip yourself with some of that energy by making an effort to throw them, or you may be tempted to depart your base because of a move they make in a fake, and then you respond with energy in a direction, and then they reverse their direction, join your energy, and then together you're thrown. That's called kazushi. And there are 8 directions in which we consider kazushi may manifest. It's a relationship between the yin and the yang principle in the judo throw, which takes 2 people. So we're going to start off with an introduction to each other, talk about why today's markets are more like themselves than they ever have been, but also wildly different, and all the volatility and all that jazz. And what to do? Well, that's what we're going to talk about: is have a diamond mind, find your base, apply the yin and the yang, and do your job. Do your job. What's my job? Well, we're here to help you with that book to figure out what your job might be by helping you find what it might be on the inside by listening to those inner voices. So the 8 great imbalancings are one of my contributions to that. I wrote about one of them yesterday, called Meet the Badger, and it had 2 parts. The first part was me talking out loud on my drive home, which takes about 5 minutes. And I just talked about everything that it's like to be a trader. I wrote about that on the Patreon. Every single thing is wrong. Every one of them. The things that you did, well, those are wrong. The things that you didn't do, well, that was wrong because you should have done them. Oh, and the things that you did that were right, yeah, you should have done it a little bit differently, more or less, left or right, or one of the other 8 directions, and not the one you took. And then and then the things that you did that were wrong turned out to be right in the short run, so you're going to violate your rules, but it turns out in the long run that traps you for a greater wrong later. So there you are in the driveway thinking about that. And you're going to walk through the door of your house, and those questions are there waiting for you. Properly so. How was your day, Dad? How did we do today, dear? We saw the president say something and the market moved 2,000 points in either direction. Doesn't matter which direction. The market acted crazy today. It moved 5% of its own price in one direction 3 times during the day. Are we going to be okay? We're 67 and going to retire someday. Are we okay? And then there's a moment of silence in which now you're going to tell them how we are, what we're going to do. And that's where the voice of the badger spoke for me, and I completed the second half of that story. Well, let me tell you what happened in the car after I had completely emptied my bowl. The sound of your voices and the look of your faces appeared to me, and I already felt better because I feel about you in a way that helps me rebalance. Without you saying anything, the thought of you, all of you, makes me feel better. So there, take that. And then the sound of the memory of your voices, the memory of the sound of your voices in my memory making sounds, your voices making sounds in my memory, all of that comes together unforgettable. And then I feel why I feel about you the way I feel. So that explains that to my head. And then my head and my heart imagine what you might say about how I feel and stories that you might tell. Unbidden, those come into my mind. And as I listen to those with an empty bowl, I find my balance again, and the 8 imbalances have come back to the center within the tension that, taken collectively, allows me to have a stable base with a perfectly spinning gyroscope from all of that loving energy and memory of past, present, and future, is what achieves a balance in the psychic, emotional, spiritual gyroscope that is spinning with the energy of the sacred fire of life. Well, also in that moment, Lucero Rodriguez, who I'm working with as a sacred fire, holy Reiki energy master with work that Paul and I are doing, she said a few words to me a couple weeks ago that absolutely realigned me and connected me and grounded me just just by her being herself. She said, "I feel these words for you: grounding, sacred fire, alignment, and total support for the Golden Bridge." She didn't even know of that image in my head about the Golden Bridge that you've heard me talk about. But she said those words, and bam, everything was aligned, and I've produced work of the highest quality for the last 2 weeks constantly. And then I heard her voice in the car as I was recording those words about what it just feels like. I heard David Boji's voice in my head talking about his embodied restoring process that is an 8-step move or 7-step move that goes from start to finish and helps you restore specifically in a way consistent with true storytelling. It's how you do those steps in true storytelling that he describes, but the ERP, embodied restoring process, is how you do it with a guide. And he sent me, in response to my note, a quick narration of his guiding principles. I heard his voice reading those to me in the car, and that added some guiding structure to the sacred fire that was given to me by Lucy. And I heard your voices reminding me of the allies that I have on the way. And I heard my brother's voice of the hospice nurse, of acceptance and reality and togetherness and love. And I heard my friend Joy, who works with us in the Boji work and who I work with from, she helped me put together the 3-stage model of performance and professional development that I'm now using, that features the trail boss and the how to do things to the rational brain, crossing a desert with a wagon train of teammates that you've assembled. So I saw those 4 and my little circle of 5 supported underneath with the memories of you guys. And then the Badger Spirit voice came in and said what it was going to say, which you saw me put into writing, and that is that, yeah, that's exactly where you are, in your driveway, and the next thing you're going to do is go through the entrance to your den, your home, that your wife has prepared, and you're going to answer those questions with love and kindness and strength, because you're a badger and that's what you do. And you have the thick skin to protect you against all enemies, foreign and domestic, on the journey, and you know exactly where you're coming from and exactly where you intend to go. And how you're going to get there is we're going to discover on the way, but you're always going to be a badger. And in addition to the thick fur that protects you, you have the teeth and claws to do the work. And I just wish, and I'm telling you from my heart, I just wish somebody or something would just get in my way to where I'm going for my family. Because there's nothing I like better than engaging with that on a daily basis, because I have the teeth and the claws to do the work. And I'm not going to stop until I'm finished. And that's my choice. And I'm a badger, and that's what I do every day at work. And I dig in, and I go. And so, as a spirit ally working with me and walking with me on every step of my journey, that badger gives me some real comfort and protection and an ally I can count on. And I know when I get to the work site, the beaver's going to show up for me, and we're going to get that work done. And I know that the spirit of the tortoise is helping me on the long 200-year journey that I'm on as part of the tribe, and it's my turn to be the trail boss. And the spirit of that tortoise that got us started, my grandfather. Imagine being a tortoise, living 200 years, carrying a 100-pound shell on your back, slowest animal except for the snail. It's the slowest self-aware animal. I don't think snails are aware. And you can't outrun anything, and you need water to live, and so you've decided that you're going to live in the desert. And it turns out that you can live there for 200 years while everything else comes and goes. There you are, and you've done that for millions of years. So I'm going to trust the wisdom spirit of the tortoise to keep me on the right path, because the one thing you'll notice about a tortoise is that he always knows where he's going, and he's taken the most direct route to get there, because when it takes you 200 years on that path, you can't be monkeying around. And the spirit of the eagle overhead is helping us with the choice of that strategic path, and its flying partner, the owl, is able to translate that and come back to us with wisdom about the next few steps ahead and some wisdom about what is yet to come. So that's in perfect alignment. And I notice to my left-hand side there's a bear. There's 3 of them that are there as allies if I were to need help as a badger. 3 bears are there. And on the other side, my unnamed spirit brother, who helped me establish the sacred space at the soccer field as his gift to me, as I gifted him and his son some words of my experiences in the service where his son was about to go. And so my unnamed spirit brother is there with me on that journey too. And over to the right, in the shadows, is the face of a coyote. That is a shadow animal that is there to remind me you don't exactly know anything about what's going to happen, because that coyote walks on both sides of light and darkness at all times with cleverness and sees everything. And the spirit of a river dragon that I'm about to cross appears, which is the release of all the shadow energy from my shadow work as I accept and acknowledge and love the inner me. And the birth of a dragon is the release of your shadow stories to the universe, which needs that for dragons. And the remnants of that dragon's shell from the moment of birth that you witnessed and you contributed to are yours to carry from Kairos into Chronos, in which you may rework them into things of great beauty in your workspace, in your work bowl, which you emptied with your true story to give birth to the dragon, and then space is created for you to do the work of loving kindness with your hands on that journey forever. So it's never just a piece of wood. It's not scrap wood. It's wood that you haven't found a purpose for yet, but you will. So treat that with the same loving kindness and respect in its early stages, unformed, would, and connect it with the same loving kindness that you give when you release it with your final work to the universe, which is your art in between those 2 points. And so the other 8 imbalances, I'm going to go through that same process now that I understood how I'm supposed to tell that story, with me in the car each of 8 days talking about everything I've experienced about each one of the specific 8 imbalances of traders. And I'm going to have Lucy and David and Joy and my brother specifically respond to me in their voice to create the circle, and then I'll wait for the spirit animal to seal the deal that walks with me. Probably a badger, if I were to guess. But I'm going to wait and see who shows up. And I want you to know that the undercurrent of that, the subtext of that, the unspoken speech, the feelings that don't fit into words, are really inspired by what you guys give me every week, and I appreciate that and love you all. And I wanted you to hear that without preparation, and let you know that it really matters a lot to me what you guys bring each and every week. No matter what you say, that's how I feel. So, aho.